So hi folks, and welcome to another edition where we've got subscriber questions, and I've got questions too, and I'm here with the legend that is Norman Buckland.
Who's the governor? I'm the governor!
That is Norman Buckland. Right, so we've got questions, and now one of the reasons that we are here today is that you've got a book coming out, The New Governor. Fred Foreman has done the forward, hasn't he?
Oh, Fred, I love him, but I'm not the Godfather. He's the true Godfather of Crime. Worldwide, like, one of the top hitmen in the world, like, you know what I mean? I don't think he's rated like he should be rated, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Freddie Foreman, the honest words, I mean, he makes me feel so good what he says about me, like.
He's an amazing man.
And I was sheepish around like top gangsters because they were like idols to me, like legends. They were legends. Okay, I did work for the film stars. I did work for the likes of Bruce Springsteen, Prince, all the top groups in the world. Like I did work for them. But the gangsters were a different story, like, you know what I mean. And
did you meet those gangsters down at Caesars and stuff? Was that when you first came in touch with them?
Lambros, I love the Lambros.
Yeah.
Like, I had a little falling out with, I think it was the niece. Please forgive me, like, you know what I mean. I was only doing my job, like, now and again I get a phone call from someone, like, or the other, like, high up in the gangster world, says, look, can you just put something to sleep, like. And sometimes I go to put it to sleep, not knowing all the facts, like, you know what I mean. And it does upset people when they get back to me, and I always say sorry. Look, it's not you, you know, blah 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 blah. And Lambros are lovely. I love them. I was with them the other week, two of them. When the brother died, we was at the funeral, weren't we?
Yeah.
We used to knock him. Me and this man here used to knock about all the time.
Absolutely.
So we can remember what it was like. You know what I mean?
Big funeral, Tony's.
It was a big funeral. It was a great funeral as well. A lot of respect there. You know what I mean? They were all there. All the boys were there. A lot of faces. A lot of gangsters. A lot. I'll tell you who I saw there. I bumped into him. I just watched this film a couple of weeks before. Richardson. I think the one that died, bless him.
Charlie Richardson.
Charlie, he had a film. Just bumped into him, walked into me. He had a film out.
Was it about his life? Was it Charlie?
About his life, yeah.
Charlie.
About his life over in South Africa as well.
Yes.
And it made me laugh because they done a bit like where he got called to a yard, like, and he looked like he was in banging trouble. And the big black fella, like, I mean, my mates, I'm not racist, my mates are black and Asian and all over the world, like, come out of the bush with a great big black man and said, would you like a cup of tea? Have a cup of tea? And you could see his face dropping, like, it was funny,
it was
and
but those nights at Caesars were fantastic, weren't they? They were
all the gangsters were there, like, the top table, like, was full. And I can remember they sat me there amongst them, and I was sheepish, like, you know what I mean? Because these, you know what I mean, these are people I've only seen on TV. You know what I mean? I fought some of the boys, I fought a few gangsters, and I think they're passed away now. And I was around that world, but I was actually, and it was nice, it was good, like, you know what I mean?
And what did you think of Joe Powell Senior? Because he was the kind of...
So I loved him. I loved him. He was a god.
Man.
He was a god. He honestly, he kept the London underworld together, like, you know what I mean? And God bless his soul. When he went, it slowly fell apart. Young Joey tried to hold it together, like, you know, the best he could. But, you know, it's sort of gone now. What's left, Joey's got it, young Joey. Total respect. Joey kept London together, the old man. And I had such praise for him. I can remember once he called me over, he was with his wife and a few friends. I mean, these were top celebrities. I don't know if they were singers or film stars, like. And I went in that class, I was a boy from the gutter. And he'd call me over, Stormin, come and sit over here. And he'd have his young, beautiful wife there. And he said, love, just sit over there. Come and sit in your seat. And I thought, fucking hell, and he'd sit me there. He goes, how you doing? All right. He said, they're not like they used to be, and they're two big heavyweights fucking hitting themselves, knocking themselves all out, like. I said, yeah. I said, they're banging each other, but he said it was a lot harder in our day, like. He said, I can remember going to the dentist the next day after having this fucking brawl, like, in the ring, like, and I thought it was a toothache. And he said, and you've got these fucking top celebrities, like, listening, like, and he's holding them back, and his missus, and he's talking to me, And you'd melt. You'd actually melt in the seat, like. Yeah. And out of so much respect, like you wouldn't fucking. You just listen.
Can I ask you? One of the guys that was there all the time was Roy Shaw, who we all loved. Roy Shaw. What did you think about Roy?
Roy, he was a god, mate. You know what I mean? People said, "How would you get on with Roy? How would you get on with Lenny?" Mm-hmm. I would have kissed their feet. They were celebrities, like, you know what I mean? And Roy, I spent some good time with. And he had a beautiful daughter. Mm-hmm. He had a son what could have a row as well. Yes. What was a lovely fella, like. You know, I try to keep up the good standard of his good boxing, like, but I didn't really care. It was one man. When I was fighting, I was only fighting one man. It wasn't 2 or 3 or a dozen men. Yeah. And they were going to go down. A body punch is going to put anything down. Mm-hmm. It would have put Butterbean down. Yes. It would have put the other big black American boxer, the Street Fighter. It would have put him down, like. It would have put anyone down. I'm not bragging about it, like. But the body punch went, and I knew it was going to happen. Yes. Even if they got me in the corner and beat me up for a round or two, I could come back out of a hiding, like, I'd probably enjoy the hiding as well. Yes, you know, come back out. I knew I had ways about me, like, you know what I mean?
Who did you rate better? Did you rate Roy or Lenny? If you'd have had to get in the ring, I mean, which would be the tougher fight?
I'd love them both, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I wouldn't fight their sons, let alone their daughters, like, you know what I mean? Oh, fuck me, could Lenny give a stare? Roy, sure. Yeah. I remember the funeral. Joey, the old man Joey Park's funeral. And Roy and him were close, and he was standing right near the coffin,
That's right.
Roy. And the fucking pain, I mean, the man, he couldn't cry, he was an animal. Yeah. And he looked around at us all, like, and his fucking eyes, they were similar to Lenny McLean, but Lenny McLean could look at a crowd. I don't think he had to beat anyone up. No. And he would say, "I want to kill you," and it put the fucking fear of God into people. With Roy, he looked over, like, and he was pain, like, he lost his mate, and he looked as though a volcano was going to explode. Yeah. He looked as though he wanted to rip your arms and legs off, then kill you, but torture you first. Joey was there, he was standing with the coffin, like, I went up and gave him a hug, and I thought it was amazing because he knew who I was before I even hugged him. He said, "It's all right, Norman," he said, "Everything's all right, I got it under control."
Yeah, it's very emotional. Roy was very upset.
But Roy, it hurt everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this is crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Can you remember the helicopter was going?
Yeah.
This was a funeral where there was one side of London what never got on with the other side of London, like. But they had to come to the funeral to show respect. And there was no arguments, there were people there who actually hate each other. Yes. And I can remember catching a coach back, and we got off the coach, I can't say where it was or who was in the coach with us, like, and the geezer, as the coach went off, he said, "My fucking shooter! My shooter!" I said, "What's up?" He said, "I've left my shooter on the fucking coach." I said, "You better fucking get in your car and go after it." And I didn't really, they had shooters there, like, and I thought, fucking, you know, I said they should have been a bit. He said, "Look, he could have gone off just like that," you know what I mean?
I mean, the whole of South London came to us, all the streets.
Even my old mate come back from Spain, the big old bare knuckle fighter, like, you know what I mean? They come from around the world.
Charlie Breaker.
Me and him used to do a bit of sparring years ago. Yeah, and you know, I can remember going to his pub. They said, Charlie Breaker said to me and Joey Pole, the old man, they used to call me aside, and I was nothing like. I was just like fucking. I could have a row, and I turned out a few good fighters, like, and they were good fighters. They weren't world class.
Very, very good man, Joe Pole Jr. And I mean those fight nights at Caesars were fantastic.
They were fair. I know. What it was is I didn't get the fights I wanted. I wanted Butterbean.
You would have sold out on Butterbean.
Oh, it would have been great. The boys I thought were great anyway. Yeah. But I was 50. I was in the 49, about 50. I was old and I was getting sluggish, like material of what I was when I was 25, like. Yeah. But I still had plenty of bottle when I had to turn it on a bit dirty now and again, like, you know.
A question here from a subscriber, John Laslett, brave question this. He said, you tended to hit people low and hit them in the bollocks. So was that right, Norman?
Well, I thought AJ, he was a lovely fella. I used to be friends with him before. rather I'd be fighting with him in the changing rooms or screaming and shouting, or we'd be friends before. Like it all depends how they come over, like you know. Yeah. And I could see him there with his brother and dad, like, and he weren't looking at me, he kept looking away. And I went over, I said, "Hey Jay, how you doing, mate?" Yeah. I said, "We're having it tonight, ain't we?" Yeah. He said, "Mate," he said, "you won't jump over my fucking head, will you? You won't stamp all over my fucking head, like." And I could see he was worried, like. I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "The fucking doctor, I've heard things like, you bit my ears and noses off in the past, like." I said, "Well, yeah, but I said, that's a street fight. I mean, some of the boys I fought have killed people before." I said, "They would have done the same to me." Yeah. I said, "I'm lucky I'm still alive. I've done that in the street." And I said, "I've done a few things, naughty things in the ring, like, but I promise you I won't stamp on your fucking head, like, you know."
One of my favourite bits of Norman was when you jumped out the ring and went into the crowd on that night. Tell us about that.
Well, what it is the fella now, I know him, like, you know what I mean? We met up at another boxing show, and I said, "Look, I'm sorry," but he apologised and said, "Look, I had a bit too much of that, and you know what I mean, a bit too much of the other, like." Right. And I met his wife was lovely. He had a son what was a good boxer as well, like, you know. Yeah. And they used to be in charge of the football. You know what I mean? Like the hooligans, the football hooligans.
Yeah, right, okay.
So, because they had a firm there on the night. Yeah. Because when I was shouting, I wanted to fight all 5 of them at once. This before the fight I had anyway. Yeah. And I was saying, "I'll fight the 5 of you!" And I had my glove on. They couldn't see my fingers, could they? Yeah, yeah. And honestly, I'd done well. I apologised after the Joey, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was in the dressing room.
And people said, "You know, I honestly didn't know who they were, like, I'd lost 2 stone for that fight, and they would call me a fat bastard. And I was upset about it, you know what I mean? But I liked Joey, young Joey, what he'd done at the end, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And he could see I pissed them off. They were fucking raring and screaming. Yeah. Then when I had another mob behind them having a go at that, then I had the Aylesbury lot, but wanted to tear up with them, and I had to keep the peace, you know what I mean, or else it was going to go up badly.
And you won the fight.
And I won the fight. Ricky and Joey, bless them, I love them to pieces. For everything you've done for me, I owe you a lot of respect. You looked after me, like, and we had a great time. And most of all, I met the old legends, the old gangsters and that. Yeah. He took me out amongst them, like, you know what I mean? Yes, they're all kicking off like that, and they all piled away, like, it was like the sea was opening. Yeah, yeah. And young Joey had plenty of bottle, and a couple of things I wanted to sort. A couple of the old gangsters were fucking getting some shit off people, and you know, he did say to me, "No, back off, I don't want you getting interfered with this, like, it's taken care of, like, keep the hell out of it." I stayed the governor, I got given the governor belt, I'll always be the governor, no one can ever take it away from me. I could take such a fucking hiding as well, like, you know what I mean?
Well, one of the things that I think is amazing about Norman is sometimes when I was watching him training, you could just take a punch, you let people just punch it.
Yeah.
It was in the chest, the stomach and stuff.
The chest. I mean, last time, what finished me off was Matt Legg, but he'd just been up sparring with Tyson Fury. Yeah. He was frustrated, like, because Tyson's a world champion. Now, to me, he's one of the greatest fighters ever cut. You know what I mean? He's got a beautiful young brother as well. Could be a film star, but he's a professional boxer, like. I mean, the old man's happy as punch, like, you know what I mean? I know he's upset people about he can fight anyone. He's Tyson Fury's dad, he can say what he wants, like. On top of that, they're travellers, like. I can't get away with it, I come from travellers. They make me happy, like. And God bless all of them, like. I know they fell out with a fella from London.
Mickey Theo?
Mickey, he was along with the governor, like, Lenny McLean, like. Yeah. And I think he does it to wind them up now and again, you know what I mean? Yeah. But the bloke, I've been told he could have a row in the pub, like, in the club. Yeah. Yes. He can have a row, he's got plenty of bottle, we won't back down from no one. But I don't want to see that fight, that shouldn't happen, like, you know what I mean?
I don't think it's going to happen.
Total respect to both of them, like, they're both gladiators, you know what I mean? They're both very respectful people, and even Joey, like, the travellers go down to G him up now and again, and they come out shaking his hand. I think everyone loves, you know what I mean? Yeah, everyone loves him, like, Who was the big fella I fought from Wales?
Steve Yorrell.
He was a lovely geezer, Steve.
Yeah.
And Steve put a fight up, because Steve could do that. With me, he put a fight up.
Tell us about that fight, because I remember filming it. I mean, it was a tough fight, wasn't it?
Steve, what? Yeah.
Because he's underrated, I think, Steve.
No, Steve, this is what I mean. People were saying, but we've seen him fight. I said, no, that was just an act, like, you know what I mean? The man's an old fucking... He's a war hero. He's been in fucking I think he's been everywhere. Ex-army, like, and he said, no, I had to pull out of it. He said, you know what I mean? The last mate died on my shoulders, like, and he said my head was going, and I could see the sadness in him sometimes. And when he used to get in the ring, I remember he fell over once, and he went to get up. He said, "Oh, I can't be fucking bothered," and went back. But when he fought someone tasty, then he'd turn it on, like, you know
very
what I mean?
skillful fighter. Very skillful.
Oh, he was on. I watched the fight because I didn't know what punches I'd been caught with. And they were the punches where I wouldn't expect them to be caught, like. Yeah, he clowned about with the novices, like, and the new boys, like. He didn't mind if he lost, or I'd tell you what, there should be an interview with him, really.
Yeah, I think.
Because he really is, honestly, like, people out there, don't be fooled by him, like, you know what I mean? He used to clown about, and he used to throw fights away. Now and again, he'd get pissed off and have a bad day, have a row with his missus, and give someone a hiding, like. But with me, he was smashing at my door. Come out here, Governor! I'm gonna fucking kill you! I'm gonna murder you! And I thought, oh my God! The Roy Shaw Governor belt. And that on there is Governor. It wasn't just the Roy Shaw belt, it was the Governor's belt. And I promised young Joey Pole I'll never part with it. So this belt is never, the belt I got given has never been parted. If Joey phones me up and said, Norman, it's about time you parted with the belt, we're gonna have a show. Joey, I will do that for you and your family through the respect what you've done for me. Like, I know we fell out for a few years. I'm sorry, I should have acted my age and phoned you up. I'm sorry, mate. To the firm, there's no disrespect to the firm. I've always kept loyal to the firm. I've kept loyal to you, your father, all the old gangsters, and things we might have done in the past. I'll take it to my grave with me, like, you know what I mean? And we were mates, we were good mates, and you kept me out of shit. You know what I mean? The trouble I could have got, you know what I mean? I could have ended up life in prison. But you steered me the right way with Dave, with your dad, with the old gangsters. They weren't bad people. You know what I mean?
Great.
I enjoyed being
They
knew I couldn't read all right, because when I sat down with Joey that time, the old man Joey, they wanted things signed. Can Norman sign this? He said, Norman, just put put a scribble down. Like, I'll put your name, put a scribble down. Because Dave was going to be one of the fights.
Oh, was he? Were you going to fight him?
Yeah. Dave, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but I love you to pieces, like. And I might have even taken a dive for you as well, like. But he was supposed to be the fourth fight. And when the third fight come up London, no one turned up. He didn't turn up. I spoke to Dave about that, like, and Dave said, you're a fucking animal, Norman. He said, look at you. And he said, what about Charlie? Would you fight Charlie Bright? I said, I'll fight anyone. But Charlie, I love you, Charlie. I wouldn't fight anyone now, like, you know what I mean?
Tell us about Charlie Bronson, because did you know him?
Charlie, no, I was down the block with him.
Really? All right.
Yeah, but what I used to do in prison, I used to train the young boys up, the YPs. Because we used to be on 1A. There's me and there was a few old gangsters from London as well. I'm terrible for names, and maybe they don't want to be named, like, you know. And they also called me over, like, they said, Norman, he said, those fucking white beats, they're driving us all fucking night, because it was two different wings, but you could hear what was going on the other side. They said they've been fucking fighting all night. One of them's committed suicide. He said they've got a listener over there, because they knew what was going over. They knew from the screws and the listeners, because the listeners used to come over and they weren't allowed to tell the screws, so they'd tell the old gangsters, like, you know. When I took over the wing, a lot of the kids would keep themselves in their rooms. They wouldn't come out because of the bullying. Like, the bullying was bad, and one boy committed suicide, and it was fuck me, it was terrible. Like, there was no real control. Even the screws. Do you know what? No disrespect, like, I actually got on with the screws, like, and they're just humans, just like us.
Can I ask? Sorry to interrupt. Can I ask? Why did you go to prison? What was the reason? Can I ask that?
Yeah, there's people involved, so I'm not going to drop their names or anything. You know what I mean? It's in the book.
It's in the book. You've got to get that answer in the book.
There's things in here. There's things in it. And listen, who wrote the book? Liam. Yeah. I can't remember his name. Woof Woof, I call him. What's his name?
Lee Wortley.
Lee Wortley.
Yeah.
And
so they can get that answer in the book.
It's all in the book.
We thank Norman very much. Hope some of your questions got in. And brilliant. We'll see you again soon. So thanks, Norman. And who is the governor?
I'm the fucking governor. I'm the governor. Stormin Norman Buckland's the governor. I always will be. Till the day I die, then I'll still be the governor. God bless you all. Love ya.